Admiral Thar's mandibles clicked with satisfaction as his fleet emerged from hyperspace above the small blue-green world. The hegemony's conquest machine had rolled across 1,000 systems, and this primitive planet, designated Terra by its inhabitants, would be no different. Open communications, he commanded from his command throne aboard the inevitable Dominion. The view screen flickered to life, displaying what appeared to be a hastily assembled human delegation. Their leader, a female with graying hair and tired eyes, stared back at him. "I am Admiral Thar of the Galactic Hegemony," he announced, his translator converting his chittering voice into their crude language. "Your species will surrender immediately and offer tribute of 50% of your resources annually. Resistance is futile." The human, identified as Director Elena Vasquez of the United Earth Defense Council, was quiet for a long moment. Then she did something unexpected. She smiled. "Admiral," she said calmly, "I have one word for you, Run." Thar's secondary eyes blinked in confusion. In 3 centuries of conquest, no species had ever responded with such audacity. "You misunderstand your position, primitive. My fleet carries enough firepower to glass your entire world." "Oh, I understand perfectly," Vasquez replied. "You have 200 ships. Very impressive. But you see, Admiral, you've made a critical error." "And what would that be?" "You assumed we were still on the planet." Thar felt the first flutter of unease as his tactical officer began frantically working at his console. "Sir, I'm detecting massive energy signatures throughout the system. They're everywhere." The view screen split, showing tactical displays. What had appeared to be asteroids, debris fields, and dead moons suddenly blazed to life with weapon signatures. Hidden bases, concealed ships, camouflaged defense platforms. The entire system was a trap. "Impossible," Thar whispered. "Our scouts surveyed this system. There was nothing." "Your scouts saw exactly what we wanted them to see," Vasquez said. "Did you really think a species that survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and nuclear weapons would just sit on one planet waiting for you to show up?" Warning klaxons screamed throughout the hegemony fleet as human vessels decloaked around them. Not the primitive chemical rockets their intelligence had reported, but sleek warships bristling with weapons that shouldn't exist. "Admiral," his communications officer stammered, "we're receiving thousands of targeting locks. The humans have us surrounded." "How many ships?" Thar demanded. "Unknown, sir. They keep appearing. Current count is over 3,000 and rising." Vasquez leaned forward on the screen. "We've been preparing for this day since we first looked up at the stars. Every asteroid belt has hidden shipyards. Every dead system has secret colonies. Every primitive world you've ignored has underground cities and manufacturing complexes." The first human ships opened fire, not on the hegemony fleet, but on escape routes, cutting off hyperspace exit vectors with some kind of spatial distortion technology. "You see, Admiral," Vasquez continued conversationally as explosions bloomed around the trapped fleet. "When humans say run, it's not a threat. It's advice. Because we learned long ago that when something bigger wants to hurt you, you don't stand there and take it. You scatter. You hide. You prepare. And when your enemy finally finds you..." The massive human dreadnought Defiant uncloaked directly above the hegemony flagship, its weapons already charging. "You make sure they regret it." Thar's fleet began taking heavy fire from all directions. His shields were holding, but barely. "This is impossible. Our intelligence indicated you barely had space flight." "That was 20 years ago," Vasquez said with grim satisfaction. "We've been busy. Did you know we've already evacuated 40% of our population to hidden colonies? The rest are in underground cities that could survive your planet crackers. Because that's what humans do when threatened. We don't just fight, we survive." "Sir," his tactical officer screamed. "Massive hyperspace signatures. More human fleets are arriving." The system filled with additional human vessels, some bearing the insignias of Mars, others from the outer colonies, and still more from places that shouldn't exist according to hegemony star charts. "Final offer, Admiral," Vasquez said as the human fleet tightened its noose. You have 30 seconds to order your fleet to surrender, or we'll demonstrate why Earth is classified as a death world. Not because of the environment, but because of what it produced. Kexthar looked around at his burning fleet, his trapped ships, his panicking crew. For the first time in his military career, he felt something he'd thought extinct in his species: fear. All ships, he whispered into his communications array, stand down and prepare to surrender. As hegemony vessels began powering down their weapons, Vasquez nodded grimly. Smart choice, Admiral. Now, let me explain how this is going to work. You're going to take a message back to your empire. Tell them humanity doesn't want war, but we're very, very good at it. And unlike every other species you've conquered, when you threaten us. She leaned back in her chair as the human fleet maintained its defensive positions around the captured hegemony vessels. We don't run away from you. We run toward you.